Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. This is our continuation of our trailer reaction video series. This time we're talking about Jurassic World Dominion. Brand new trailer just came out, and it's time to react to it. But before we get there, I have my Barbasol ready. I have my Amber ready. We're talking some Jurassic Park continuation, and I think you got to go way back to that Jurassic Park to have the Jurassic World Dominion trailer actually have meaning. And so the original came out back in 1993. I was 5 years old when it came out, but somehow I did go to the theater to see it. I do recall that. I don't know what my parents were thinking, but I am quite appreciative because I would say that Jurassic Park is my favorite movie of all time. I mean, I've seen a ton of them, but Jurassic Park, I can put that. I'm not one to rewatch. If you're a fan of the show, you know I'm not a big rewatching person, but Jurassic Park, I can rewatch it. Just so many iconic lines and scenes, and just the practical effects combined with the subtle use of CGI. The movies that made us documentary about Jurassic Park, that was a really fun watch, and just the way that everybody acted so well, and that matters because Alan Grant by Sam Neill, and then Jeff Goldblum's Dr. Ian Malcolm, and then Elliot Sadler by Laura Dern. They're all making a return for Jurassic World Dominion, and we're going to combine it with Chris Pratt from the first couple Jurassic World movies, and who knows what all this entails. I do know, though, that for me, Jurassic Park is on a pedestal above quite a bit. So it was tough for any of the sequels or follow-ups to come close. But for me, this might be a bit of a hot take. I feel like all the rest of the follow-ups are just fan fiction. Jurassic Park 2 and 3, and then Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2 just feels like fan fiction. They don't even come close to the original. It's a disservice to what the original laid out. And I know there's different great creative minds on it. I mean, Steven Spielberg still did the second one. It's just, they just don't hit. I mean, Jurassic Park 2, that whole gymnastics scene to end it, the whole in San Diego conclusion where it's not actually filmed in San Diego and it's just goofy on top of goofy, and it's just that's Jurassic World 2 took kind of there's a fantastical idea of getting dinosaurs dino DNA from the amber of the mosquito in the amber. Of course there's some fantastical elements, but it became goofy. That seems like the entire structure of the series. It became goofier and goofier. So then we get to the third one, and William H. Macy and Tay Leone's son somehow survives. I don't know if it's 6 weeks. I haven't watched it since it came out. I can't. Don't quote me on the details. But he somehow survives on this sea island off of the coast of Costa Rica. And it just, that's hard pass right at the top. I did like that they brought Dr. Grant back, but I don't feel like Sam Neill had the same gravitas that he does in the first film. I say the best part of that film is probably the pterodactyl aviary. I mean, just the idea of it. I don't know how anyone would ever walk into that. There's no way you could protect people. There's a reason that island's already abandoned. But just that core idea is great. And I do like that the pterodactyls fly off of that island once they escape, and it sets up future installments. And then we don't hear anything after Jurassic Park 3. And then we reboot it with Jurassic World. And then now we're finally Jurassic World Dominion. The idea is that what happens if the dinosaurs got out and they interacted with society or our current society. And so they laid the idea in Jurassic World 3 and never followed up, and it just took like an extra 20 years or whatever to finally get to this point. But yeah, Jurassic World 3, the phone going off in the dinosaur's belly, somehow the Marines or the Navy coming to save the day when all the raptors are there. It takes you out of what the films are. That there's like this weird grand savior at the end. That seems to be a recurring thing. So then we get Jurassic World. And Jurassic World, it's probably better than Jurassic Park 2 or 3, but I think that's because it's more of a almost kind of like what The Force Awakens is to A New Hope in the Star Wars franchise, where it's a retelling and a rebooting where it takes a lot of elements of the original. But again, it still feels faker. There's a lot more CGI going rather than... It's just weird. It's like, oh, look what we can do to create dinosaurs now, but the dinosaurs look off. And I guess it's cool that Chris Pratt can train the dinosaurs, but again, we have this whole military idea that now we have these dinosaurs, and it's rehashing the story that once you have these dino DNA, that it's going to be stolen by somebody. The money is going to be up for grabs. There's some way that some other people are going to cash in on this. So rather than Dennis Nedry, we now go, and BD Wong's character somehow still involved, and he guess he didn't do this, and he learned after Nedry died that he should have been doing this the whole time. Not exactly sure on that full-on storyline, but that doubles it down in Jurassic World 2, where now the dinosaurs are being bid on, and they're just pieces, and all to the highest bidder of all different, bred specifically to be weapons. I guess that works. The problem with Jurassic World 2, though, and Jurassic World, it's not any of those aspects. It's just the dinosaurs are getting faker. The ideas of interacting with the dinosaurs is getting goofier, and Jurassic World 2 takes it to the ultimate thing. I've never walked out of a movie in the theater, and I almost did with Jurassic World 2 for the very reason that dinosaurs are a threat. They're a gigantic threat. But for some reason, it almost took a Walking Dead style mentality where the zombies become more of a nuisance. Like, oh, we got to deal with zombies. And that's how the dinosaurs were in Jurassic World 2. So all the way to the point that they had to introduce an actual extra natural disaster. If dinosaurs weren't enough of a threat, here's a volcano. Because yes, that's exactly what everyone was asking for, is some Day After Tomorrow disaster movie smacked into the Jurassic franchise. That just totally got me out of the whole thing. Like, seriously. I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard running around screaming all the time. That's kind of her entire character arc from Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2, and then Chris Pratt's the guy to save the day, and cool, we got that. Fully whatever. Bryce Dallas Howard's an amazing director. She's done an awesome job on the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett episodes that she's done, and they could have given her more to do in the Jurassic World franchise rather than just running screaming from a volcano or from dinosaurs. Really just a disservice to her. But that's not here nor there. It's more just how, again, they become more and more fantastical. The idea is fantastical, but it doesn't mean the movies have to. There should still be some gravitas and grittiness. When the T-Rex escapes in the original Jurassic Park, and just having him come out and the sheer terror of the kids and everyone involved of what this actually means, you haven't been able to replicate that. They can make the dinosaurs bigger, they can make the settings more fantastical, but it's never been as much terror as that original film. And the dinosaurs should provide that terror all on their own. They shouldn't have to have special breeding to be weapons. They shouldn't have to have humans bidding on stuff and then backstabbing each other and all these cutthroat ideas. And there's these different people who are trying to take over John Hammond's idea. We don't really need that. They're dinosaurs. Let's have the dinosaurs interact with people. They're petrified. They're terrified. There's fear induced. Like, there's elements on all of the movies to try to replicate the original, because like Jurassic Park 2 has the cool, like, cornfield, essentially all the tall stalks that the raptors are going and taking people out, and that's great. And then it becomes goofy once they get to San Diego, and it's like, why did you do that? Like, Jurassic Park 2 also has the cool hanging off of the cliff sequence with the big transport vans. Julianne Moore's hanging on with Vince Vaughn, and it's just really nice and terror. She falls onto the glass bottom. She's trying to hang in there, and then they have the baby, and they're holding the T-Rex baby, and it's screaming, and they're up in the trees, or the little girl's up in the tree, and it's just this whole weird idea where it's now they took the storyline of the hunting guy and they focus on that, and then they focus on the T-Rex actually just drinking out of a pool looking at a dog trying to get his baby, rather than just having the threat of a T-Rex itself. It's just so weird. The hunter guy who hates the raptors in the original film is now more gung-ho and just like almost like the bad guy from The Rescuers Down Under or something, where he's just like this hunter guy for the pure sake of being a hunter guy. and he's taking out these guys, and it's just more of a trophy rather than respecting the animals themselves. They lost a respect for the dinosaurs. That's kind of the crux of it. So with this trailer, can they bring that back? Because Jurassic World 2 ends with Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm up essentially in front of a congressional hearing, because any good movie, of course, has a congressional hearing to try to oversee the use of anything, because we know how good Congress does in real world. So that's just what I want to see in cinema. But anyway, the crux is he's telling everybody, so this is it. This is our ultimate showdown of having two apex species alive at the same time. You know, he goes back to the original where they're having their little lunch, and he tells John Hammond, dinosaurs had their time, and now you've decided to play God and just smack them all together. Well, now we finally get that smacking all together. This isn't just a few scientists on an island running away from dinosaurs. This is dinosaurs within our everyday society. The Jurassic World 2 leaves us off where there's a dinosaur who walks up to the line. You know, it's the big T-Rex against the line. And this comes down to the idea of how grounded or how fantastical and goofy are we going to be? What scale are we going to go to kind of more of the original ideas and try to have terror and fear from the dinosaurs themselves? Or is this going to be Chris Pratt riding on the back of a T-Rex? He's got the saddle, there's a cowboy hat. Maybe the T-Rex is like the T-Rex from Super Mario Odyssey. He's got a big goofy mustache, and it's just all kinds of hilarity ensues. Or is it going to be actual terror? Because the challenge with dinosaurs is they don't have machines. That's kind of why humans are apex predators, is because we've created various types of weaponry and machines that no matter the dinosaur, it's going to rip right through them. So I don't know how, again, even if dinosaurs evolved at the pace that they could potentially do out in the wild, they're not going to have bulletproof skin. They're not going to be able to handle any of that kind of ideas. But it's more of a kind of building on the original where Clever Girl, the raptor, is able to sneak up on the single hunter guy. So if we sent in a whole military unit, our dinosaurs are going to be able to survive that. And also of the dinosaurs, keep in mind that there's going to be some herbivore dinosaurs that don't really care about humans one way or the other and just going to do their own thing. So I don't know if they're going to play a part in the movie at all. And this is a long-winded way to say that I'm super excited for the trailer. I'm excited what this movie does, because no matter what they've done in the past, if you throw Jurassic on it, I'm going to go see it because I love dinosaurs since I was little. It's that nostalgia idea. Again, dinosaurs. There's such a fascination with humans just because we've never seen them. We've only seen bones. We can only imagine of what they actually were. Jurassic Park has done an interesting job of keeping up with scientists' discovery and more knowledge about dinosaurs over the years as the films have been introduced. And what does that mean for Jurassic World Dominion? I'm super excited for the OG3 cast to return. I don't know what that's going to mean, but this is the first time all three of them will be back together, because for some reason I would love to know the backstory of why they chose not to do the sequels, why Sam Neill's like, no, I'm not going to do Jurassic Park 2. But then by the time Jurassic Park 3, he's like, yeah, I'm on board. But then Jeff Goldblum's like, nah, I'm not going to do it. I don't know what any of that entails. It's an interesting story. For some time, maybe they'll tell us. But for this trailer, I'm super excited for that. And again, I'm sorry I talk so much. There's a lot to say when you come to Jurassic, so I'll just leave it with this. The notes, and then we'll get into the trailer. I'll count it down for everyone after we get through. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you're watching along at home, and go. Okay. So this looks almost like it could be Montana in the snow, which is pretty interesting. Chris Pratt is riding a dinosaur. Well, I guess he's riding the horse, but he's gonna ride the dinosaur. So I'm already half right. He's not a T-Rex, but oh my god, he's got a saddle and everything. But the interesting aspect is the snow idea of kind of like a Wyoming, Montana, Yellowstone idea.
sheer will.
So,
5.
this is just such a interesting way to depict dinosaurs in the snow. We've never seen that before. You know, it's a tropical Costa Rica idea. I do like the John Hammond voiceover intro from the original.
They find her, we're never gonna see her again. We gotta protect her. That's our job.
Again, we're focusing on Blue. Now Blue has a little girl. Here's the emphasis of humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. Let's all go to the lobby in the background as the T-Rex shows up. Classically fun.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
Oh,
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now.
the reuniting. What happened to their storyline? It seemed Jurassic Park kind of indicates that they're a couple.
We're racing toward the extinction of our species. We not only lack dominion over nature,
Oh, lack dominion over BD Wong's back.
we're subordinate to it.
Oh, we're doing more Bryce Dallas Howard running away from dinosaurs. At least it's a conclusion. Oh, they got the full-on wings. This goes to my point of them evolving our scientific knowledge of dinosaurs.
Come back.
Locusts. I don't know why locusts are here. Raptors always chasing motorcycles. Where did all these dinosaurs come from? Because again, this goes to my point of the herbivores doing their own thing. There's only the ones that escaped.
Not exactly.
Oh, good. We got big. Oh, I don't know this guy's name, but it's a thing based on the pterodactyl. So that's almost like kind of when they're doing the hunting in Jurassic World 2 to get a few. Oh, Dilophosaurus return.
Why do they always have to go bigger?
June 10th in theaters. Let's hope June is a really good month. So, 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Let's hope there was a fun return to theaters in June. But that's not the point of this. So, now we see it all. There's a big, heavy emphasis on nostalgia. Just point blank. We start with John Hammond's voiceover. Sadly, he passed away, the actor. And then we do a big emphasis on Sam Neill and Laura Dern, as well as Jeff Goldblum. They all have various talking points and lines. When Sattler and Dr. Grant meet each other, they're in the tent, kind of like when John Hammond first kind of meets, and we get introduced to their characters in the very first movie. And then there's a heavy emphasis of what Jurassic World did. Again, Bryce Dallas Howard running away from stuff, and Chris Pratt riding on motorcycles with raptors around him. So I don't know if that was the best bring ahead from Jurassic World. I understand this is the conclusion of the Jurassic World series. And since it's a conclusion, they emphasized Dominion. And so, not to get too political, but I do not think that if dinosaurs existed, that they would be the human extinction point. Again, there's not enough dinosaurs. Even if you get all the dinosaurs off of Isla Nublar A, B, and C, and then you get all the ones that potentially were brought through to San Diego, and then you get all the ones that were being experimented on by B.D. Wong that were up in San Francisco in that lab, combine all of those dinosaurs together, that's less than 100. There's 7 billion people on Earth. I don't know how that's that big of a threat. Again, it's interesting. We're going to call in scientists to eradicate a threat like dinosaurs. Like, it's cool for the ideas of the dinosaurs chasing down particular heroes that we know, but it's kind of far-fetched in the structure of how our society works. But again, these dinosaurs, they're hopefully not killed. I'm always rooting for the dinosaurs. It's kind of like I root for Godzilla. There'll always be a soft spot for them. I feel bad if they're gonna kill any of these dinosaurs. When the dinosaurs, one of the saddest sequences of Jurassic World 2. Oh, speaking of dinosaurs, they're not having enough. A lot were killed in Jurassic World 2 because of the volcano. It killed countless dinosaurs. So again, I understand that they evolved. They're kind of like the clones from Star Wars. They're bred to age up really quickly, but there's just not enough out there for this to be a threat. But Anyway, I got sidetracked. Again, one of the saddest parts of Jurassic World 2 is when the Bronchiosaurus literally does his loud, sad, sad Brachiosaurus noises it would put in subtitles on the bottom of the screen when the boat's leaving and he's left on the island that's about to be completely devastated. And it makes you think it's that first Brachiosaurus that we ever see in the first Jurassic Park film where he jumps up on his hind legs to get those branches, and we're introduced to the idea that dinosaurs are back. And I feel bad every time dinosaurs die. That got to me. Always does. That's yeah. Don't kill the dinosaurs. So they're bringing back the big sea dinosaur from the original Jurassic World because that was a new fun spectacle to have, and he's out hunting. Like it would, dinosaurs being back messes up the balance of every ecosystem on Earth because they're the new apex predator within the construct of wildlife, but they're still humans. Humans, would not let dinosaurs roam free. They're too dangerous, obviously. They're not going to just be like hunting cattle and various types of animals like that because humans are so easy to track down. Like people have a problem with coyotes right now. Could you imagine if there was dinosaurs roaming around? Ooh. So they're going to eradicate all of them, and I already feel bad at the context of that because, again, the point I was getting to is they emphasize this is the conclusion. So this is the conclusion of the entire Jurassic series, presumably until they try to reboot it eventually in however many years when Universal needs some more money. But that means the dinosaurs have to be gone, right? They have to be extinct again because obviously human society isn't going to end. And I don't think there's any logical way that humans and dinosaurs could coexist. Dinosaurs are not meant to be in a zoo. We have confirmed that time after time. We don't know how to cage them or contain them. Something will inevitably go wrong. We've learned that across 5 movies for sure. But with that, if that's out of the way and we can't let them live in the wild, I can't imagine that we're just going to see Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler and Dr. Malcolm just go and guide the hunting and extinction of dinosaurs. And it's not like Chris Pratt's talking, I guess it's a presumable daughter. I can't follow along the Jurassic World lineal discussions. I don't really care about any of those characters, but just, you can't keep Blue here, and Blue has offspring. And again, with using the frog DNA from the original film to splice in the extra DNA strands for dino DNA, and again, there's not enough Mr. DNA. Just as an aside, Miss Minutes is amazing Loki because she has a Mr. DNA vibe from Jurassic Park, and they're both amazing characters, and I needed some Mr. DNA in this trailer in some capacity, some form or function. But so Blue can essentially reproduce without having a male counterpart, or at least can swap and change sexes like a frog depending on the scenario and situation. So has offspring in whatever case, and the offspring is already a pretty good size. But I don't know how much time has passed in the course of this. I don't know if this little girl is Chris Pratt's daughter or if it's a new character entirely that just is in on what's going on. But all his sequences, again, they showed him riding a dinosaur. It wasn't a T-Rex, but he was literally riding a dinosaur. Or he's riding a horse and then he ropes the dinosaur, and so it has that whole vibe idea, kind of like what I guessed at, like I said, live in the reaction. But just him on the motorcycle and having the dinosaurs running through the streets of, it looks like Madrid or some various locale, which a city locale for these dinosaurs. We're in the snow in the forest, and now they're in a city locale. So are these dinosaurs being transported around again, like Jurassic Park 2? And then, or maybe it was Morocco, because they also showed, it was almost a James Bond or a Mission Impossible type of sequence with Bryce Dallas Howard running with the raptors chasing her and jumping across buildings and stuff. It's like probably be better suited for Tom Cruise or Daniel Craig in either of those situations. But it's just weird. It doesn't seem to fit. It gets to that goofier idea that these dinosaurs have an axe to grind and a personal vendetta against the select cast of characters we know. Because I don't think that a raptor or anything like that is going to have any type of axe to grind or vendetta against any particular human. It's most likely just going to get prey, and any human will do. If you're in a city, there's too many humans to single out any particular humans. And I don't know, that's the best, because I'm guessing all these dinosaurs still have tracking chips, and I just don't like the idea of Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard tracking these dinosaurs and trying to eradicate them, and then trying to show the dinosaurs as the bad guys or the villains, trying to simply survive. And oh, it's okay that Chris Pratt actually killed this dinosaur because the dinosaur was trying to kill him. I'm just not a fan of that storyline or scenario, and it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of that, and I'm already discouraged at that. I'm super excited for the OG crew, though. Again, it was an emphasis on nostalgia. There was even a Dilophosaurus, and again, Dilophosaurus. Most of the stuff is just off screen, all my Jurassic Park stuff, but he was very practical effects. It's how close the dinosaurs are going to be to the people and how fast they have to move. Like when it's going to jump across a building, I understand it's CGI. When you watch the original, or the How It's Made about the original Jurassic Park, that documentary, it shows how it was one of the first wide-scale early adoptions of CGI, and how it was used in fast-moving sequences. Like when the T-Rex is chasing down the Jeep that Dr. Sadler's driving with Dr. Malcolm in the back, must go faster, that's CGI built upon the practical effect dinosaur. So it's zoomed in, it's going to be the practical effect. When it's zoomed out, you get the whole dinosaur. That's going to be CGI. And that movie came out in 1993. And so it's being worked on in 90, 91, and 92. And that means it's been 30 years. And the CGI honestly didn't look that much better. And it's because they're going with the flourishes, like the dinosaur with the feathers, which is a good, more accurate representation of what we're trying or starting to learn about dinosaurs, that they're not just lizard looking, they're more bird looking. There's a reason their legs bend the way they do. There's a reason their embryos and their eggs are positioned the way they are within the eggs and all that stuff. But it just, since there's all those flourishes, you don't have a practical base to then make it into CGI. They don't have any ever zoomed in looks. So the dinosaur's entire CGI 100% of the time, and it stands out. It's not even like you would expect over 30 years it would look better. The CGI in Jurassic Park isn't it's groundbreaking, but it doesn't necessarily withhold the test of time. Like the Gallimimus that the T-Rex chases when Dr. Grant and the kids are running, that looks pretty poor. There's no doubt about that. But I wouldn't say this looks 30 years better. I would say it's a slight upgrade, and that's kind of discouraging. Blue as a raptor has always looked kind of off because of the distinct markings that she has. She looks relatively fake. No way to sugarcoat that. I don't know how you do practical effect raptor. I'm not going to presume to say that, but it's still jarring in the sequences. It kind of takes you out of the idea of it having some gravitas and being grounded in reality. It just looks a little too fantastical, and I'm going to see it June 10th. I know I'm going probably on June 10th or 11th, willing, but I kind of feel relieved that it's a conclusion. I feel like when I watch this movie, it's going to incentivize me to watch the original again afterwards to kind of be a palate cleanse. I just have this feeling, this inkling. But hopefully I'm wrong. I 100% hope that I'm wrong. I hope that they don't kill dinosaurs a lot in this movie. I hope the entire structure isn't hunting down dinosaurs. I understand the cautionary tale that we as humans should not be experimenting with bringing things from the past or playing God in any capacity. But in that, it looks like our same human heroes are going to keep being able to flaunt that because they survive. Like, again, BD Wong's back in it. He has longer hair, but he hasn't gotten his comeuppance. Essentially, he keeps doing his same things, and it's okay to play God because there's no ramifications for him. He somehow survives over and over again, as do all of these characters who are interacting with dinosaurs. So I don't even know if it's proving that lesson. It just looks like over the top action movie that's a summer blockbuster without really any moral ramifications or philosophical ideals to what's going on. And that totally sells in our current market of what movies stand for. But I feel like that's what Jurassic Park stands for. Just to ask the questions rather than just be a big, hey, look, there's dinosaurs on the screen, let's run away from them. The dinosaurs aren't a replacement from zombies. It's not a horror movie. It's not just a quick kind of digestible thing. It's more the ideas. Imagine if dinosaurs are alive. This is what you would imagine, that 5 specific people in the entire society deal with all the dinosaurs, and that the dinosaurs are somehow scattered around the entire globe, and I don't know how they got that transportation. Like, are we going to see T-Rex go into like LAX and he's going to get plane tickets, and I don't know how he's going to transport. Is he going to get that boat that the original T-Rex from Jurassic Park 2 is transported on, and he's going to go around? I don't know. Like, I guess at least there's no volcano. There's no, oh, look, also there's a giant tidal wave, or there's some giant earthquake, some various natural disaster to combine in. I did like that there was a fire. It looked like it was California. We can build off San Francisco, and so California's constantly on fire, so I guess that fits. But I don't know, man. I want them to just go back to the basics of what made the original so good, but it seems like instead they're combining the legacy elements of all 5 films, which isn't bad when you say it like that. It's just that legacy over time has become more and more fantastical. I keep using that word and I keep using that analogy, and I do apologize, but I'm trying to hit that nail on the head that dinosaurs right now in our current society is a crazy idea, and it still could be like, they explain away the science that it's impossible, but that science still sounds relatively plausible. And now we're getting to the point where, what's science? And it's thrown out the window, and now we're just, oh, look, big dinosaurs on the screen. Like Jeff Goldblum says, oh, they just had to keep making them bigger. It's always bigger. And it's a bigger and bigger threat that dinosaurs are just big and scary. And that's it. It's not, wow. Could you imagine if dinosaurs existed right now, and how people would interact, and how we have the affluent people to afford being able to go to a literal park, a zoo for dinosaurs, and our odds and ends of human society, and how the haves and the have-nots, and just the moral guide to bring something back to Jeff Goldblum's point that dinosaurs had their chance and they went extinct for a reason. Though it might not be their own. It might not be evolved out. And by might not be, it's likely that an asteroid hit and the dust cloud blocked out the sun. And so then trees couldn't grow, so then the herbivores couldn't eat the trees, and the carnivores couldn't eat the herbivores, and the entire ecosystem destroyed. Ice Age came, and then it finally defrosted, and this happens over tens of millions of years. And so dinosaurs just got a bad deal, essentially dealt a bad hand. If dinosaurs and man arose at the same time, I don't know if humans would have evolved with the ability to create tools and be able to survive to defend themselves against dinosaurs. And I don't know if we ever would have existed if dinosaurs didn't get wiped out by an asteroid. So that's an interesting kind of evolutionary discussion. And again, this movie seems to glance over all the potential interesting ideas to just be like, hey, big dinosaur, oh, they're running away, oh my god, and now it's over. So we'll see. I might be super wrong. The trailer has some intriguing points, some intriguing tidbits. Again, I'm going to see this movie. We're going to have a reaction on our podcast once it comes out. And until then, be sure to listen to our normal podcast. I'm usually joined by two other guys, so it's not just me rambling and ranting about Jurassic Park. But I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned to at Secondary Heroes on all forms of social media that you could possibly imagine. Be sure to like us on YouTube. It helps with algorithms. And leave us a review on iTunes, too. Because all that we do, all these different reviews and short form episodes and long form discussions, we just had a really interesting talk about art versus artist and can you separate the two. It's all free to you, and your support is priceless to us.